This video is sponsored by Manscaped. I love their product, the Lawnmower 3.0. I made a whole video about it on my second personal YouTube channel, Zach Schambler. I recommend them. Go to manscaped.com, use promo code CLNS20, CLNS20 for 20% off of your purchases. When I dove into film of Sam Darnold, the Jets quarterback's 2019 season, I found some pretty alarming stuff. There were some moments where, honestly, I felt bad for Sam. And so in this film analysis, we're going to do three things. We're going to, number one, break down the problems on the Jets and explain why I felt bad for Sam Darnold. Number two, I'm going to hold Sam accountable. I'm not going to just blame everything on the Jets. We're going to talk about the problems with Sam Darnold, what he needs to work on to become a better quarterback. And then number three, in the end, I'll ultimately explain why I do, in the end, believe in Sam Darnold as the future of the New York Jets. So right off the bat, the first thing that needs to be addressed is the offensive line. There were so many moments where Sam Darnold had absolutely no chance last year. Either there'd be a miscommunication on the offensive line or a guy would just completely miss an assignment. The Jets' offensive line was comically bad. Guys would constantly come free, and there were times where Sam would catch a snap, take a three-step drop, and then the minute his foot hit the ground on his third step, he'd immediately have guys in his face. You'd think, hey, 5 offensive linemen could block 3 defenders. If you have a numbers advantage, you'd think you would win, and you're sorely mistaken because the New York Jets could not protect Sam even when they had a numbers advantage. When they had 5 guys only trying to block 3, they still couldn't make it happen. And I've got a rule where a quarterback should not take a sack on the goal line, but against the Redskins, Sam's right tackle got so badly beaten that it was unavoidable. Not only did the Jets have offensive line problems, they had receiver problems as well. First of all, they didn't have a single receiver who could make consistent contested catches against man coverage. They had Robbie Anderson, a guy who ran by everybody, but they dropped so many passes. The receiving core of the Jets dropped a ton of passes. Easy ones, in fact. Touchdowns were dropped. Now, the Jets, again, did have Robbie Anderson, but he didn't want to do much more than run in a straight line. He was a solid vertical threat, good at running a fade, but he really lacked physicality inside. There's one moment that really stands out to me, kind of highlighting a problem with the Jets receiving core, where Demaryius Thomas was running vertically. He gets behind the safety and then just slows his feet down and gives up on the play. Sam throws it deep, expecting him to be there, and because Demaryius slowed his feet down, it became an incompletion. It looks like, at first glance, a bad throw that Sam overthrew. But what kills me is that it's actually a big missed opportunity by the receiver. Now, another challenge Sam had to deal with last year was his head coach, Adam Gase. The lack of adjustment by Adam Gase is just baffling to me. The offensive line was a major issue for the Jets last year, and yet Adam Gase kept calling longer, developing plays, often that had no outlet underneath in case pressure got there quickly. There's a play against the Dolphins where a man opens up deep, but the design to protect Sam is a mess. In theory, Demaryius Thomas was supposed to come across the formation and give a chip block to protect the quarterback, but the timing did not work at all. And it makes you wonder, did this play get repped at all? It's the first play of the game. You know that all week this was drawn up and talked about. So it's just odd to me, how did this play not work? And it's really, from a lack of adjustment standpoint, Adam Gase failed. And really his overall design often is wrong, and often there's so much little mismanagement. Like, how does this, your first play of the game, get this badly mismanaged that Sam has no opportunity to get the ball off? It's your first play of the game. You know you talked about it. You know you worked on it. It's weird to me. There's little tiny moments like this all throughout the year where you see repeated disorganization by the Jets offense. So, you have Sam Darnold running for his life because of a struggling offensive line. You have receivers who struggle to make plays or beat man coverage, and you have a coach calling plays who isn't adapting to situations. Now, the New England Patriots exploited all of these weaknesses and embarrassed the New York Jets. You had all the Jets' problems, then you add to that they have a young quarterback, Sam Darnold, who's still learning. And the Patriots game was by far the worst game Sam and the Jets had all year last year. Sam was 11 for 32 passing. That's a 34% completion percentage, dismally low. He had 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a fumble. Now, the main thing the Patriots defense did to stop the Jets was play cover 0. What that means is it's called cover 0 because you have 0 safeties in the middle of the field. The Patriots played man-to-man coverage across the board and brought the house. Sam had no chance. His receivers couldn't win outside, and his offensive line was completely overwhelmed by the Patriots' blitz. The beating Sam took last year is what made me feel bad for him. And I'll be honest, the Patriots game was a scary moment in his development as a quarterback. Near the end of the game, he had a man open in the end zone. It should have been a touchdown. But Sam cringed away from pressure. He doesn't step into his throw, and as a result, he underthrows the pass, and it gets intercepted. What should have been a touchdown was an interception because he was afraid to step into pressure. And you could tell the constant pressure got to him. He had another interception in that game where he just panicked in the pocket and threw a bad interception over the middle. No one was there. Nothing was open. He just panicked. And that's the danger of not protecting a young quarterback. The constant pressure can cause him to stop trusting his offensive linemen. Now, Sam is far from perfect, but my goodness, he is not being properly supported by the Jets. There's a play on the goal line against the Dolphins where, of course, a defender comes free, running right at Sam, and he tries to do the right thing. He tries to throw the ball away and avoid taking a sack on the goal line. Taking a sack would mean that 3rd and goal from the 2-yard line would actually instead be 3rd and goal from the 11-yard line. That's a big difference. But he gets hit as he throws the ball, it gets intercepted, and it's moments like that where he gets to the top of his drop and there's just nowhere to throw, there's pressure in his face, and his hands are tied over and over again. I watch on film moments where I look at Sam and go, I don't know how any quarterback could survive in that environment, let alone do well. And last year, so many things went wrong, from having mono to getting embarrassed by New England to all the bad moments last year, plus the lack of support around him from his offensive line, his receivers dropping passes, his coach not adjusting to defenses. That had to be the worst football season of his life. I really believe in Sam Darnold. He deserves a lot of respect for his resiliency. I mean, that Patriots game was embarrassing. He looked lost. But it's interesting, he didn't fall apart. He didn't let that ruin his season. He kept fighting and put things together a lot more in the final 4 games of the year. However, before we get into the good parts of his game, I want to hold him accountable. I want to talk about the things he needs to work on. The reality about Sam Darnold is that if you want to find reasons to hate him, you very easily can. The number one thing Sam needs to work on is his ball location. He frequently will throw the ball to the wrong shoulder of a receiver or leave an out route way too far inside, and he really struggles throwing corner routes in particular. This problem is really enhanced by poor footwork. There's a play against the Raiders that highlights it really well, where Sam throws for a big gain, but his feet are a mess. He's literally jumping around in the pocket. Well, he gets away with it, but you don't want a quarterback who's jumping around in the pocket. He needs to be more steady and find more proper footwork. Often when you watch Sam, his feet are really sloppy when he's operating the Jets offense, and it makes me wonder if he's taking a drop, thinking about what his feet should be doing. He needs to take more reps, and his footwork needs to be second nature rather than something he has to be thinking about while he's doing it. Against the Bills, he left a throw too far inside, it got deflected into the air, and intercepted. Ball location is something Sam Darnold needs to work on. There's a throw against the Cowboys. He's throwing to the left where he leaves the ball far too inside on an outbreaking route. And what's sad is that on that same left side, he actually had a slant open against man coverage. He should have just helped himself out and taken the easier throw. Another play against the Steelers on 3rd and 7, he was late on a wheel route and it cost him a completion. And then many times you see Sam just make a baffling mistake. Way too many times he makes a throw, and I'm left watching wondering, why is he throwing there? What did he see? Nobody's open. It doesn't make any sense. You can tell Sam was just trying to survive week to week. Someday he'll be able to thrive, but he's a ways off from thriving in the NFL. But that's actually not all terrible. You have to remember, not only is Sam a young quarterback who's still learning, you got to remember he's younger than Joe Burrow, Daniel Jones, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and he's 2 years younger than Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold is still figuring out the NFL, and that's okay. He's got room to grow. Here's why I believe in Sam. He's got a lot of great stuff on tape. Despite all the chaos around him, you see so many moments that are special. A great throw against man coverage. A dime where you went, dang, that's perfect. One of his smarter plays was against the Steelers. He recognized the blitz. He understood that the linebacker guarding his running back was way in the middle of the field. The linebacker was going to have to run all the way across the field to get into position. Sam saw that and stole easy yards. Now, Sam's footwork needs to improve, but he does have a really special natural feel for bodies all around him. There will be a subtle step to the right or a step to the left. He's really great at feeling pressure around him. And Sam is really good at improvisation. I know that playmaker is a generic term, but that's exactly what Sam Darnold is. He's not the fastest or the strongest, but he's scrappy and has a knack for just creating success. In the last 4 games of the year, Sam really hit his stride. There are some really good throws on tape. For example, against the Ravens, he threw a guy open on the goal line. And he just does some stuff that cannot be coached. Adam Gase is not my favorite coach in the NFL. In fact, I'm leaning towards wanting Adam Gase fired. But at the end of the year, nearly every play did have a built-in hot route underneath that Sam could throw to in case he was under pressure. That's a good adjustment. It came way too late in my opinion. But it isn't totally hopeless. Adam Gase could put it together next year. So Sam has a lot of growing to do. His ball location needs to get better. His feet need to improve. And I want to see more consistent decision making. But the Jets had better surround him with talent. Sam is a young quarterback slowly making progress, but he is the future of the Jets. And man, is he a special talent capable of some amazing things. He just needs to get some support from his team. He can win in New York, but he's not going to do it all by himself. I do want to give credit, though, where credit is due. The Jets got an offensive lineman in the first round of the NFL draft and a receiver, Denzel Mims, in the second round. And that's a good start. So I'm excited to watch the development of Sam Darnold moving forward. I just hope that the Jets give him the tools he needs to be successful. But the fact that the Jets went 7-9 last year is actually pretty impressive. They were not totally abysmal, and they very easily could have been. And that's largely due to Sam Darnold. They lost 3 games without Sam, and you have to wonder if he played the whole year last year, would they have been 8-8 or 9-7? So I think people just don't understand how much Sam Darnold elevated the Jets last year. I think he's headed in the right direction. He's a young quarterback getting better, but I do think he is the future of the Jets. He needs more support. He needs to get better for sure, but he's got a lot of stuff I like. Too many good things on film to be ignored.